Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cycle Gold and this is Cycle Gold Videos. Today we'll be watching One Punch Man. 3, 2, 1, go. I was just gonna say, is this gonna be a video game? What the? I like the fact that he's a giant monster and King's the bunny girl. You're screwed, Saitama. That was a hell of a combo, though. His damage didn't get scaled as it was attacking. Well, there you go. His emotions are definitely working. Oh, yeah. I've forgotten that was how this ended. That must be why his phone is flashing, because of whatever's about to happen. So they're trying to suggest that if they have City Z, they won't attack people anymore. I don't believe a word of this. Yeah, that's what I thought. Brief moment of peace. Okay, that's not how you negotiate. I was gonna say, yeah. Oh, they want a showdown. Okay. They want to wipe out all the heroes in one go. Interesting. At the end of the day... Yeah, exactly. You attacked multiple areas, but if they all come at you at once, together as a joint unit, you'll definitely have a much harder job on your hands. There's quite a lot of them down there, though. Oh, Maid from Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get the chance, mate. Bye-bye. Yeah, that message couldn't have been clearer if they tried. Yep. Go gets bit off more than he can chew. Yep, Saitama took you out. Again, hilariously. And both times you've forgotten. Oh damn, he looks even more robotic. Does he had some upgrades? Oh, okay, so yeah, it's a proper upgrade. Can always rely on the media to keep everybody calm when a situation of chaos and panic happens. I don't even know how Metal Knight's supposed to help, because... Oh, he's like sacrificed the hostage and, yeah, nuke the place. Oh, good old Saitama. I don't think it is, because no one's going into there, is there? Oh. Oh! Wait, what? He's assembled a little group. Okay, not so little. Yo, don't mention the fact that your mate's in there. Wow. Yeah, if I was Taro, I wouldn't stick around with them anymore. Because he wants to look up how to defeat all the heroes that are outside. Because his entire shtick of being better than everybody else all relies upon the fact that everybody he fights, he's already looked up all of their abilities for. I was going to say, stop trying to throw him out and get in there. The more time you give him, the less likely you have a chance of winning this. I like the fact that he's still trying to protect the kid. And it's like, he's supposed to be a monster. That's literally the opposite of what a monster would do. Yeah. I think you're about to be in for a rude awakening, kid. We'll take you in alive. But by alive, I mean after I've shot you full of bullet holes. Yeah, I was gonna say, that was definitely not meant to take you in alive. I do find that interesting, though, that they all assembled knowing that he took out Tank Top Master. I mean, he didn't actually take out Metal Bat. He did injure him, but he didn't actually take him out. That was because his sister turned up. I actually think Metal Bat could have beaten him. Which, speaking of, where the hell is Silver Fang and his brother? They're supposed to be hunting him, yet everybody else seems to have come across him first, you know? Oh! Okay. He's not just a support, it would seem. I like this dude, whoever he is. I won't lose to anyone when it comes to stamina. Okay. That is definitely the right team to take him down in his condition. I don't know if this would be a different fight if he was at full strength. Oh. Oh! It feels like I would have just started watching it, man. Well, I know a lot of people... Like, I saw a video earlier that said that One Punch Man Season 2 is disappointing. And again, I didn't bother watching it because I don't agree with that. But I just know that it's going to be that JC staff, is it? That they're complaining about the animation. I don't know, man. I enjoy it. Yeah, there are bits and pieces. You know, I've made comments as well when some silly things happen, but I've seen a hell of a lot worse. And those anime apparently are, like, amazing. And I think they look like they were made on Flash. It all comes down to what you watch it for, doesn't it? Are you here for the story, the characterization, and what exactly is going on in the world? Or are you just here to be an art critic? Plus, to all the people who keep saying that this has got nothing on Madhouse, maybe for the first season of One Punch Man, I will definitely agree. However, Madhouse are the same people that did Overlord Season 3, and I seem to recall everybody pretty much being ready to skewer them because of the way Overlord Season 3's, especially the second half of that season, turned out in terms of animation. So, I don't necessarily think you can just assume that it would be more amazing if it had been done by them, because I think they had a lot on their plate, and there's no way that they could have done this as well. I mean, we all saw what happened to the third season of Overlord. It could have been just as bad for One Punch Man had they done the second season, so personally, I don't care. As I've said multiple times, it's fine. If it wasn't for the fact that people keep bringing up how much they dislike it, I wouldn't even be thinking about the art style or the animation, apart from, like I said, a few points where some of the drawings don't look quite right, and I mean, that fight sequence to me was good. I enjoyed it. Definitely did kind of remind me of Dragon Ball Super in places, though. And not just because that support hero was wearing Gohan's tracksuit, but because, you know, it was just that sort of same colorization as some of those early Dragon Ball Superhero episodes. No, not heroes. As those early Dragon Ball Super episodes where they were fighting Frieza, which was just a rehash of the Battle of the Gods storyline. But I do think that overall this show is fine. I don't have any issues with it. And some, you know, I like some of the stylization choices, but a lot of people don't. And I'm just not one of them. So if you're looking for me to critically assault the show saying how poor it is, then I'm not your guy. Sorry. As for this episode itself, I thought that was a pretty good episode. I liked the continuation from last week's. Admittedly, I'd forgotten how the last one had ended with that parasite. But I like the fact that we got to see another S-class hero. I can't think of his name, but the one with the really hard skin. Leaving him behind to defend the Hero Association was both a good call and allowed for us to get to see a hero that I don't actually remember from the first season. He was probably in it, because I know they pretty much all appear in the end couple of episodes, all of the S-class heroes to fight the alien invasion. But there are still quite a lot of heroes to share screen time, and at the end of the day this show allegedly is about Saitama, but he does often take a back seat to what's going on in the story, because ultimately when he turns up he is only there to basically end the fight. So if he was there at the start of every fight, there wouldn't be much of a fight, as we saw when all of the monsters were coming into City Z and they ran straight into him and his fist ran straight into them. And, you know, we didn't even get to see anything. It was just a little bit of animation and then a load of dead bodies and body parts spewed across the city, because at the end of the day, when Saitama fights, there is but one outcome, and that is that he will win. I also like the moment that Lord Orochi finally spoke and did something. The way he ate the cockroach guy was a bit weird. Very off-putting and creepy. Perfect for a big villain monster character type. The fact that the girl, I'm sure that's not her name, but they called her like Super S or something. That was interesting as well to see her. There were a few comments about her personality that I've read, basically saying that she's dominant to most people, but like stronger beings, she gets submissive, and they were saying that that will become clear in later episodes. I can't help but feel like that was what they were talking about, and I've got this funny feeling that there's going to be a big long comment telling me what's different in the manga and the anime, and that's going to be in it, and that when she sees how strong he is, she's not particularly defiant towards him like she is in this episode. Although she was terrified, she didn't exactly change her position in terms of wanting to be in his good book. She was just relieved to not get eaten, which in fairness is an entirely understandable emotion. I would imagine most people are glad to not get eaten. The reaction as well from the big floating eye guy when he saw the body of Guketsu, I thought was very, very apt. You know, the fact that we actually got to see what happened to his body, because we know where his head went, but we didn't actually get to see that fight or how exactly Saitama took his head off. So the fact that it was literally just a gap from the chest up, like his neck was gone as well, and in my opinion, I think he did a spine rip from Mortal Kombat. So yeah, actually seeing their reaction to that and being like, oh damn, I guess this won't be as easy as we thought it was going to be. You're like, yeah man, there you took on some of the heroes, but you didn't take on all of the heroes. And some of the S-Class heroes made mincemeat out of your guys, it's just that they couldn't be everywhere at once. Watchdog Man and Tatsumaki, I think her name is, they both seem to wipe the floor with the monsters. Metal Bat, admittedly, he wasn't doing great against the Giant Centipede, but everything else he was doing well against, and obviously if he hadn't gone up against Garou at the same time, I'm fairly confident he would have been able to at least do some damage to the big centipede thing, because he did kind of know where the weak points were. He just wasn't able to really make use of that information because, like I say, he ran straight into Garou pretty much right afterwards. Metal Knight obviously did chase the centipede down. His frame is crushed and destroyed, but it's still operational. And the way that the Hero Association were trying to convince him to join the operation, I can only but assume that my original theory that he has multiple Metal Knight frames or suits or whatever they are, robots, droids, that he has more of them, and maybe that he has different configurations. I mean, he did call, the first time we ever met him, if I remember correctly, he called it a weapons test. Like, he doesn't call it like an operation or being a hero. He thinks of everything as like a weapons test, or just basically, he's very detached is what I'm trying to say. Like, even in this episode, he's more interested in just nuking all of the monsters than in rescuing the kid, which is an understandable reaction because, you know, they've seen how powerful this monster association is, and one life versus potentially saving everybody else. Yeah, nuke him. On paper, it is that simple, but in reality, it's not. You know, well, forget about the fact that he's an executive son. That shouldn't actually matter. Because in that regards, I do agree with Metal Knight that the only reason the executives are refusing to act on his plan is because they're worried that it'll affect their finances, which, yeah, is a little bit too realistic for me to just think is him being cynical. But just sacrificing the life of any kid is a difficult thing to do. If it's an adult, it's still difficult, but I think a lot of people would be able to do it. But trying to sacrifice the life of children is not something that people that are part of something called the Hero Association should be able to do so callously. And like I've said before, Metal Knight and a lot of the S-Class heroes that we've seen previously, I think don't really belong in what I would call the class of hero. But funnily enough, several of the heroes that we've seen more of in this series actually do fit the bill of being actual heroes a lot more, and it's kind of nice to see that actually old school heroes in inverted commas do seem to outnumber the guys like Metal Knight, who I don't actually think are really heroes. Metal Bat, Blizzard, I think her name is, even though she's not an S rank, but you know, the Tank Top crew, a lot of the guys that we've seen, they might have their issues, but I think deep down they are proper heroes, and I don't think they'd make that trade so easily. Whereas Tatsumaki, I don't think she'd care either. I think she just would do whatever allows them to win, and I definitely think that Metal Knight is the same. But, well, no, I know Metal Knight is the same. We're showing it in the episode, but you know what I mean. I think there's the two different types of heroes. Those that are actually heroes and those that have the power to be hero and want the status, the rank, the money, and etc, etc that goes along with being one. The fact that Genos is also now ready to get back in the fight is going to be a big plus, because obviously I imagine he's going to have absolutely no problem diving into the Monster Association Dem. There's a lot of other heroes as well that we know were out and about and fighting, like Puri Puri Prisoner, that we haven't really seen since he out-hugged a hedgehog thing, which was hilarious. I still love that scene, but there's a lot of heroes unaccounted for, at least in terms of we haven't seen where they are. There's the samurai heroes that we saw take down one of their own, who was turning into a monster, but I've no idea what happened to him since. Bang, or Silverfang, is unaccounted for, and obviously his brother, even though I don't think he's a hero, I think he's just a high-level martial artist, but they're definitely both of the same quality, so having the two of them come at you would be an absolute nightmare, but there's so many people unaccounted for. I hope we get to see a big, powerful group against the Monster Association, because obviously I don't think Saitama's going to be part of that group, and we know King won't be part of that group, because King is probably going to come up with a reason to not be there, because he wouldn't actually be any help. So, yeah, I don't know what exactly is going to happen, but we know Saitama's going to turn up at some point, but he's not going to be kept in the loop, because he's not ranked high enough to be involved. Speaking of people who aren't ranked enough to be involved, the fight against Garou at the end then I thought was really good, considering he has fought S-class heroes and gotten the better of them. The way in which he was basically out-coordinated by the A-class heroes was actually really cool. They took a team that has the right composition, organization to actually take him on. Now, like I said, I don't know if this would actually work if he wasn't injured. Personally, from the way Garou was analyzing them and what he was saying in his own mind, I actually think that this team does have the ability to take him down, even if he was at 100%. The only difference is that because he's not 100%, he can't actually, it doesn't appear to be able to use his, like, really mystical martial arts techniques is what I'm going to call them, where he's able to basically push himself beyond human ability. He's still able to have the reflexes that are basically superhuman. The way he can dodge those arrows, he dodged bullets, he was able to predict people's attacks, but again, some of that is just because, unbeknownst to them, he has read a hero's guide, which obviously gives him an advantage, and I think that that hero's guide is a stupid-ass idea. I don't know why they thought that would be a good plan, but I suppose the only things that they've ever fought are monsters and, well, aliens, both of which are not going to think to read the hero guide. Garou is kind of a one-of-a-kind being so far, in that he's human and fighting them. So he is, I suppose, you could say he's the first supervillain that they've ever really come up against, because everything else is a monster, not a human with powers. But yeah, it does kind of annoy me that every hero under the sun seems to be encountering Garou, but the two that are actually supposed to be hunting him and know him don't seem to be able to find him, and instead seem to be content to standing on rooftops, just basically feeling guilty about everything that's happening. But that's just me. I can't wait for next week's episode, because I really want to see what happens with these A heroes taking on Garou, what's going to happen with the kid inside the barn, because now obviously he's slowly realizing that the old man isn't necessarily a good guy, but will he care? Will he himself decide that heroes aren't worth it, or will he end up helping one of them in some fashion? I don't know. There's a lot of things that could be done there. I really enjoyed that whole fight sequence, and I just thought that every hero complemented each other perfectly, and I loved seeing them take him down with tactics rather than overwhelming firepower. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for me for the moment, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry that there's probably going to be a few more cuts in this one than normal, because I've got a slight problem this morning with speech. I don't know why, I seem to be really stuttery, so I've had to redo a few things a couple of times, but hopefully it won't come out too bad at the end. But either way, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Drop your comments down below, let me know what you thought of this episode. As always, if you're new, fancy a subscribe, then you know where the button is, feel free to give it a click. If you want to see this uncut, or you want to get early access, or slightly, definitely much earlier at the moment, but hopefully just a little bit early access in the future, then feel free to go down below and check out the Patreon page in the description, or the Subscribe Star, even though admittedly that page is becoming harder to maintain because Subscribe Star do things in a really odd way in terms of how I post stuff. Either way though, that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is Psycho Gold signing out, and I will see you in my next video. See you later, dudes.